Hello there, it's Austin. Today we're going to take some inspiration from the northern side of Italy by taking the classic style of Pilsner and hopping it up a little bit to create an Italian Pilsner. So let's get started. We'll start this Italian Pilsner recipe by collecting our reverse osmosis water. I'm looking to gather right around 4.5 gallons for a full volume mash, or basically having all the grains and all the water together without having to supplement with water later on in the recipe. I'll be adjusting this water with the following additions of calcium chloride, Epsom salt, and gypsum. In a German Pilsner, typically I'd use water with a higher sulfate content to accentuate the hop bitterness, but with an Italian Pilsner, it can kind of vary, but I'll be using a more balanced mineral content to complement both the hops and the malt. For the fermentable additions, I'll be sticking with a pretty simple grist of 6 pounds or 92% Pilsner malt and 8 ounces or 7.5% Vienna malt. This will be mashed together at 150 degrees in my 6.5 gallon anvil foundry, which is pretty well suited for a full volume mash on a 2.5 gallon scale like you're seeing here. During the 60-minute mash, I'll pretty much leave the kettle alone with the lid on, except for stirring it every now and then to help with my efficiency. After the conclusion of our mash step, it's time to pull the grain basket out of my anvil foundry and let gravity drain the wort back down through the basket into the kettle. While it's draining, I will also recirculate some of this wort back through the basket. I do this by taking a big stainless bowl and then just dumping the wort back into the basket for it to drain through again. This will help rescue any sugars that might be trapped in those grains and hopefully raise our efficiency a couple of points when we look back at the end of the brew day. The next step in the hot side of our brew day is bringing our wort up to a boil to sanitize as well as add some hops. Speaking of those hops, today we'll be using 3 different varieties in 4 different editions, starting with Hallertau Magnum at the 60-minute mark. This hop will do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to the bitterness in the final product. At the 30-minute mark, I'll be adding a 1/4 ounce of Spalter Select to provide a little bit of classic herbal and floral flavoring. And finally, the hop that I will be adding at flame out, as well as dry hopping with later, will be Saphir. This will lend a little bit of citrus and stone fruit undertones, which is kind of the calling card of the Italian Pilsner. The yeast I'll be using today is a German lager yeast, WLP 830, but given the nature of the Italian Pilsner, I could see pretty much any Pilsner or lager strain working just fine. I'll start off my fermentation in a 5-gallon torpedo keg with a blow-off tube attached. 2 days into fermentation, when it's time to dry hop, I'll add in another 0.4 ounces of Saphir hops. After adding the hops, 10 days of fermenting under pressure later, and then maybe 2 weeks of cold conditioning after that, my 5.2% light and hoppy Italian Pilsner is ready to enjoy. A fantastic solution for the heat wave that seems to be rolling around just about everywhere this summer. The beer style that I order most frequently anytime I'm at a new brewery or tap room is a Pilsner. It's not that it's absolutely my favorite style, even though it's probably consistently in my top 3, but it certainly is my favorite style that has a wide enough appeal that you can pretty much find it anywhere you go. I feel like the perception, at least over here in the United States, of Italians and drinking alcohol usually drifts towards wine, and for great reason. But there are certainly some great beer brewers and traditions in Italy as well, and the Italian Pilsner is a testament to that. This beer has the malty backbone and clean yeast character that you would expect out of a Pilsner, but with a significant boost in the variety of hop flavors that you taste as well. I think the Italian Pilsner is a fantastic addition to your summer lager lineup, so if you haven't tried one already, I'd recommend it. Cheers!